What is up, guys? Delboy here. So Matty Askin versus Lawrence Okolie has been made for the undercard of Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Povetkin, and I've got to say I think this is a great domestic fight. One I'm really looking forward to. It's a really interesting fight. This, without doubt, represents Lawrence Okolie's toughest fight to date on paper. Matty Askin has fought at a much higher level than anybody Okolie has fought so far. Okolie's last two fights were Luke Watkins and Isaac Chamberlain. They were really good fights for him at that stage of his career. But, Askins is definitely a couple of levels above those guys. I personally feel Matty Askins would deal with those guys quite handily. Matty Askins is quite experienced. He's not had things the easy way. He's gone through the highs and the lows of boxing and he's always bounced back. And now he has an opportunity to really shine a spotlight on his career and maybe even kick towards a world title shot. This is a moment that Matty Askin has been waiting for his entire career. He's always been a guy who's gone under the radar, and now he has the opportunity to fight at Wembley Stadium on a pay-per-view card on an Anthony Joshua undercard against a highly touted prospect, a former Olympian. This is a massive opportunity for Matty Askin, and it's got to be said, he might not even get this opportunity again. So he's really going to go in there and give it his all. He's going to go in there with ambition because he remembers what it's like to be left out in the wilderness for years, fighting for small purses while taking on quite tough opposition. Matty Askin so far has fought guys like Krzysztof Glowacki when he was very young. He went to Poland in 2012 to fight Glowacki. Evidently he was actually performing quite well in that fight but got stopped late on. He's fought a host of domestic level guys. He's fought Stephen Simmons and won. He knocked out the previously undefeated Craig Kennedy. He decisioned two unbeaten prospects in Tommy McCarthy and Simon Barkley. He lost a very close fight to Oval McKenzie. I personally felt he won that fight. Matty Askin has been through the ups and downs. He's fought on small shows for very little purses. He's fought tough opposition. He's going to go into this Okolie fight in the best form of his career. And, this really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him. He's not going to get a moment like this again. I really feel he's going to go in there like a man possessed. So that's one of the intriguing things about this fight, Okolie's going to be in there with someone who wants to take his head off, who wants to really propel his career to the next stage. And I'm not saying his previous two opponents, Isaac Chamberlain and Luke Watkins, didn't have ambition. I'm not saying that. But they don't know what it's like to be out in the wilderness, getting dodgy decisions go against you, or having to travel to Poland when you're clearly not ready to fight someone like Glowacki. They don't know what it's like to do that, to fight on small hall shows against undefeated prospects where you have to win. They have never been through the ups and downs that Matty Askin has had to go through. So that makes him a dangerous opponent. And not only that, I think he's better technically than both of those guys also. Askin clearly carries more power than anybody Okolie has fought so far. I think Askin has a decent jab. He's a good body puncher. He's got a nice straight right hand. He really does come to fight. He's got solid fundamentals and he's improved in recent years. And actually, based on recent performances, he's probably a bit better than British level. He's probably operating at more like European level. So, Askin really does represent a big step up for Lawrence Okolie. But I think it's a fight Lawrence Okolie can win. We've seen Matty Askin get stopped before. We've seen him lose decisions before. He's not unbeatable. I'm not saying that, but he's just a big step up in class for Okolie. But, it's going to be interesting to see how Okolie deals with Askin up close. I was really impressed with how Okolie was working on the inside against Luke Watkins. Doing that against Luke Watkins is one thing, but Askin is a lot more accomplished on the inside than Watkins. It'll be interesting to see what happens if this fight goes up close, because Askin is quite sneaky at times, He can land some sneaky body shots. He can create space and land sort of sneaky hooks and sneaky uppercuts on the inside. Askin is quite well developed on the inside for a British fighter. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when this fight is up close, because that's actually been one of the areas where I've been impressed with Okolie recently, is on the inside. I think he's actually developing really well on the inside. and it's going to be interesting to see whether he can handle a fighter like Askin's up close. Also on the outside, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, to date in Okolie's career, he's always been the significantly taller man and the guy with much longer reach. He's going to be the taller man against Askin, and he's going to have more reach, but the size advantage is not quite as apparent in this fight. So, for example, Okolie is 6'5" and Askin is 6'4". You know, he doesn't have the crazy sort of size advantages that he had in previous fights going into this one. He still has an advantage, but it's nowhere near as apparent in this one. So it's going to be interesting to see how Okolie deals with a bigger cruiserweight, because it's something he's not really seen so far. And again, on the outside, you'd think it would favour Okolie. He's got a good jab, a good long right hand behind it. You know, he's doing better at maintaining range. It's still an area he needs to improve on, but you know, his 1-2 is developing quite nicely. And Askins can box on the outside, so that's going to be interesting also. I think it's a really good matchup. I'm not going to say who I think is going to win yet. I'm just sharing my initial thoughts on this fight. But what I will say again, 7-4 on Matty Askin is very, very tempting. What do you guys think about this fight? I think it's a great one. Peace.